Hello again, my most colorful art student. It's me, Miss Friels. Last week, we had so much fun mixing with colors. We had so much fun reading the story Mixed by Ari Chung. We had so much fun remembering or learning about primary colors and secondary colors, and some of us even learned a little bit about tertiary or intermediate colors. So this week, our art lesson week number 9, we're going to be doing some more color mixing in a different kind of way. So welcome to week 9, more color mixing and colorful words. Remember my chimes? What a beautiful sound they make. So, what am I talking about? Well, last week we remembered how to mix primary colors together to make secondary colors. And as I mentioned before, we also learned we can mix a primary color with a secondary color to make a tertiary color. But did you know there are other ways of mixing colors? In fact, there's a lot of other ways of mixing colors. And in the story last week I read to you, Mixed, there was actually a very powerful message in that story. It was that our world is so much more beautiful when we have a variety of colors. And not just in art, when we have a variety of colors in nature and when we have a variety of colors with ourselves, with people. Have you noticed that we're not all the same color? And I'm not talking blue and green and red. I'm talking about skin tones. Skin tones are what the color of our skin looks like. Have you noticed that sometimes your skin tone is not the same as your best friend? Or sometimes it's not even the same as your mom or your dad. Sometimes it's not even the same as your grandma or your teacher. We all have a different skin tone. And let me tell you a little bit about how we create the colors of our skin. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the beautiful different skin tones that we have in this world. And I'm going to read one of my favorite books called The Colors of Us, written and illustrated by Karen Katz. Already from the cover, you can predict what the story might be about. And while I read it, pay close attention to the way that Karen Katz describes the different skin tones. Pay attention to her colorful words she uses to describe the different kinds of skin. My name is Lena, and I am 7. I am the color of cinnamon. Mom says she could eat me up. My mom is the color of French toast. She's an artist. Mom's teaching me how to mix colors. She says that if I mix red, yellow, black, and white paints in the right combination, I will have the right brown for me. The right brown? But Mom, brown is brown, I say. That's not so, Mom says. There are lots of different shades of brown. Let's take a walk. You'll see. We go to the playground where we see my friend Sonia. Sonia is a light yellow-brown, says Mom. Just like creamy peanut butter, I say. My favorite. Isabella is chocolate brown, like the cupcakes we had for her birthday. Lucy has skin that's peachy and tan. My best friend, Jojin, lives close to the playground. Jojin is the color of honey. 2 streets over, we meet my cousin Kyle. His skin is reddish brown, like leaves in the fall. Carlos and Rosita have brought their new puppy to the park. Carlos is a light cocoa brown, and Rosita's skin looks like butterscotch. When we pass by the pizza parlor, Mom and I see Mr. Pellegrino flipping a pizza high in the air. He is the color of a pizza crust. a golden brown. My babysitter, Candy, is like a beautiful jewel, bronze and amber. She looks like a princess. Mom and I walked to the park to eat our lunch. Look at everyone's legs, Mom. All the different shades. After lunch, we walked to Mom's favorite store where Mr. Cashmere sells many different spices. He's the color of ginger and chili powder. And up the street is my Aunt Kathy's laundromat. Aunt Kathy is tawny tan, like coconuts and coffee toffee. After our walk, my friends come over. We take our towels to the roof and we lie in the sun. I think about everyone I saw today. Sonia, Isabella, and Lucy, Georgine and Kyle, Carlos and Rosita, Mr. Pellegrino and Candy, Mr. Cashmere, and Aunt Kathy. Each one of them a beautiful color. My friends leave and I go downstairs. I am happy as I get out my paints, yellow, red, black, and white. I think about all the wonderful colors I will make, and I say their names out loud. Cinnamon, chocolate, and honey. Coffee, toffee, and butterscotch. They sound so delicious. At last, my pictures are done, and I've painted everyone. Look, Mom, I say, the colors of us. Isn't that just such a beautiful and awesome story? Isn't our world so much more beautiful when we have so many more colors? I think so too. Today, you are going to learn how to draw a simple portrait. A portrait is a drawing of somebody's face, and you are going to choose whose portrait you are going to draw. It could be your own portrait, which is called a self-portrait. It could be a portrait of a best friend or your grandma or your uncle. Whoever you decide, we are going to learn how to draw a simple portrait, and then we are going to have fun mixing different skin tones with some very simple colors. I am so excited to see your beautiful portraits and to hear the beautiful words you use to describe the different skin tones that you add to your portrait. Are you ready? Me too. Let's go. Okay, I have some white paper and I am going to be just playing around with mixing some simple colors to make different skin tones. Let me go ahead and turn on my light here so we can see better. There you go. Now, check it out. If you have paint, all you need to mix different skin tones is yellow and red, white and black. But because we're using crayons today, if you have these colors in your crayon boxes, please get them out. If you have a brown already, get out a brown. If you have a peach, get out a peach. If you have a yellow, get out a yellow. If you have a pink or a light pink, get out a pink, red, white, and black. So brown, peach, yellow, pink, red, white, and black. Because all of these colors, when we mix them together, we can make our correct skin tone. So think about it for a minute. Maybe just for today, you want to create your own skin tone. So check out your own skin tone. I'm looking at my skin tone here. My skin tone is kind of like a little bit peach, maybe mixed with some tan and some brown. Maybe your skin tone has more brown. Maybe your skin tone has more white. Maybe your skin tone has more black. And if you don't want to do your skin tone, think about somebody else's skin tone, like your best friend or your grandma. We're just going to play around mixing some different skin tones. And then I'm going to teach you a very quick way to create a portrait. And then you will put the correct skin tone onto your portrait. So I don't know if you're going to draw a picture of yourself or your mom. It doesn't really matter at this point. Let's just play around with some mixing. I'm going to go ahead and move closer to my crayon so that you can see. I'm going to just show you a couple different skin tones, okay? Because I don't have a whole lot of time in my video, but check it out. I want to create my color. What do you think? I think a little bit of peach mixed with a little bit of brown and maybe a little bit of yellow and pink. What do you think? Let's try it. So I'm going to set these colors off the side just for now. So I'm just going to make some color here on next to me by my paper. And I'm just making like, you know, big kind of scribbly, but they're all kind of going in the same direction. And already I can see that that is too light. My skin is darker than that. There we go. The camera's adjusting a little bit. So I'm going to mix in just a little bit of brown. Remember in the story, brown, when we talk about skin colors, brown is not brown. There are so many different shades of brown. Ooh, that's getting a lot closer, and I'll let my camera take a minute to adjust. Ooh, that's looking a lot closer to my skin tone. I think I might even have a little bit of pink in there. What do you think? Let's just mix a little bit of pink in there. We're just having fun mixing with our crayons. No stress. We're just trying to match. Well, I'm matching my skin tone. You might match your own skin tone. And like I said before, you might have a little bit more brown, or you might have a little bit more yellow in your skin. Maybe I'll mix in just a little bit of yellow. I'm kind of satisfied with that. That looks very similar to my skin tone. Maybe we'll call it sort of a honey, butterscotch, tan sort of color. Now that I know what colors I use to mix, then my next step is to create my portrait. And then when I color my skin in, I'm not just going to use one color. I'm going to try to mix my colors to match my skin tone. So let's learn how to create a quick portrait. Let's go. Okay, this is a really simple how to draw a face, how to draw a portrait. Okay, I will include a better video on my Seesaw so you can watch this again. But really quick, most faces are an oval shape, and I'm going to be using my whiteboard because it's so much easier to practice on a whiteboard and it's so much easier to erase. If you use a paper and pencil, boys and girls, draw so softly because you are going to need to erase a lot of lines. I suggest use a whiteboard first, and when you are happy and you say, I know how to do it now, then you draw it on paper, okay? So did you notice I was practicing the shape of an oval? When you feel like your hand is ready to draw an oval, go ahead and draw the oval on your whiteboard or your paper. Doesn't have to be perfect, but most faces are the shape of an oval. Now I'm going to be drawing a lot of lines. Why? Because I want the proportions to be correct. That means, for example, I'm not going to draw like the eyes up there and the mouth down there. That's not proportional. Our faces are kind of proportional. That means the eyes and the nose and the mouth are basically in the same place. And the way we do that is like this. Watch closely. I'm going to draw a line down the middle of the face this way, and I'm going to draw a line across the middle of the face like this. Remember, if you're using a pencil, draw so softly because you're going to need to erase these lines. Look, it's just like a big plus right through the middle of your face, the middle vertically and the middle horizontally. Now, believe it or not, this line here in the middle is where you put your eyes. It's where you put your eyes. So just watch me first. I'm going to add my eyes about in this spot. Now, I'm drawing a self-portrait. That means I'm going to be drawing a picture of myself. If you're drawing a picture of your friend or your grandma, start with the same steps, okay? Now, check this out. My nose is halfway between this line and the chin. So I'm going to do a little line halfway between here and here, about right there. That's about where my nose lives. And my nose, for right now, I'm just going to do a very simple U shape for my nose. I'll worry about details later, okay? And then halfway between my nose and my chin is my mouth. So I'm just going to do a little line there. And it looks like I'm sad, and I don't want to be sad. So first of all, I'm going to draw a kind of a line up and kind of a nice smile like this. That's pretty realistic. Those are called proportions. That's how we know basically where to put our eyes, our nose, and our mouth. Now is the fun part. I get to erase. If you're using a whiteboard, erase those lines. Erase them. Get rid of them. If you erase important lines, don't worry. You can fix them later. Just try to erase the line that went through this way through your face, the vertical way and the horizontal way. Okay? All right, I'm just going to fix up a couple lines really quick that I accidentally erased. And now I'm just going to add details. I'm going to fast forward this part. You can follow along at home. But for the sake of not taking too much time, if you know how to draw this much of a portrait, you can turn this into yourself, your grandma, your mom, your dad. Remember, I am doing myself, and then I'll check in with you in a bit, okay? Here we go. Yay, I am satisfied with my whiteboard drawing. So now I'm going to copy my whiteboard drawing onto my white paper. I have the correct crayon mix for my skin tone, so I can color in my beautiful skin tone. And I'm going to start with a pencil. I usually recommend starting with the pencil just in case we make mistakes. And then I'm going to be filling in my skin tone with my crayons and adding some details. And I am going to make this fast. If you need to stop and rewind or make it slower, please do so. All right, let's go. Whether you make a portrait of yourself or the portrait of a friend or the portrait of a family. Remember, after you're done with your portrait, turn in your artwork to Seesaw. Go to Miss Friel's website, Miss Friel's Art Classroom website. Take a picture of your art and tell me about it. I can't wait to see your portraits.